Hello everyone, I hope so you're doing well. Today we are going to discuss about the MCQs, especially long MCQs in section 3. MCQs are the most important part of our listening and reading, and our listening and reading sometimes is not without these two within those modules without MCQs. So students mostly they are getting scared from the MCQs. Actually, MCQs are not as much as difficult as you people are facing or feeling. The reason is that you're not solving them properly. So today we will discuss how you can solve the MCQs properly with exact strategies. In this way you will not get even a single MCQs wrong. I will explain to you how you can solve them well. So section 3, question number 21 to 30, and choose the correct letter A, B or C. So the topic is about study on gender in physics. And first of all, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to go for underlining the keywords. So I have already underlined some keyword like the study is by Akira Miyake, and here we will underline the keyword all. As I'm telling all the time, be careful about this all, very, every, everyone, no one, most, few, a few, a lot, little. These words are very important in our listening MCQs, in our reading MCQs, or and in our true, false, not given, yes, no, not given. Okay, all mean everyone. So majoring in, I'm majoring in which subject was their major. So physiology or physics, and science, technology, engineering or mathematics. So let's start with me.
And answer questions 21 to 27. Okay, Greg. So I finally managed to read the article you mentioned. The one about the study on gender in physics.
About the study of college students done by Akira Miyake and his team. Yeah, I was interested that the researchers were actually a mix of psychologists and physicists. That's an unusual combination.
Yeah. I got a little confused at first about which students the study was based on. They weren't actually majoring in physics, they were majoring in what's known as the STEM disciplines. That's science, technology, engineering, and
math. Yes, but they were all doing physics courses as part of their studies.
That's correct.
So they were not majoring in physics, they were not majoring in psychology or physics, they were majoring in science, technology, engineering or mathematics. So that is our answer is C. Let's move towards question number 22, and in question 22 we will now underline first our keywords. The aim of Miyake's study was to investigate. Two keywords are important here. Aim, we know already, study, Miyake's study. Aim of study was to investigate. So aim of study to investigate what kind of women choose to study physics. What kind? So here we are supposed to tell about the kind of women choose to study physics. Okay. A way of improving women's performance in physics. So Akira Miyake's study aim was to choose what kind of women study physics, or the aim was a way of improving women's performance in physics. He wants to improve the women's performance in physics. Whether fewer women than men study physics at college. Whether fewer women than men study, fewer, this word is very important again. Then comparison is here, so you will look for the comparison. If they are talking about the comparison, then men study physics at college. So now we need to find out the aim of study, investigate what kind of women choose to study. So A is not little, seems to be match with the statement, like the aim of study was to investigate what kind of women choose to study physics. So a way of improving women's performance in physics. So they want to the study what was the purpose of the study to investigate? Why Akira Miyake want to investigate? She investigate to a way of improving women's performance in physics, or whether fewer women than men study physics at college. I am feeling, if you read carefully, these two options are not suitable for this. So let's start now our listening and audio.
Physics courses as part of their studies.
That's correct. So, as I understood it, Miyake and co. started from the fact that women are underrepresented in introductory physics courses at college, and also enroll on these courses perform more poorly than the men. No one really knows why this is the case.
Yeah, but what the researchers wanted to find out was basically what they could do about the relatively low level of the women's results. But in order to find a solution, they needed to find out more about the nature of the problem.
So they are saying that the purpose of the study was to find out what is the problem and how they can improve the performance. So our answer will be B. Now we will move towards question number 23. Toward question number 23, here we will again underline the keywords. The keyword here is female physics students were wrong to believe that. What they were believing? The female physics students were believing something. So let's read with me what they were believing. The teachers marked them in an unfair way. Teachers marked them in an unfair way. The second was, the male students expected them to do badly. So it was the expectation from the male students that to do badly. And now we will underline the keywords in our third option. Their test results were lower than the male students. So comparison is here. The female physics students were wrong to believe that their test results were lower than the male students. The teachers marked them in an unfair way. The male students expected them to do badly, or their test results were lower than the male students. So comparison is here. Okay, let's start our audio. Now we will understand what is the answer.
Right. Now, let's see if I can remember. It was that in the physics class, the female students thought the male students all assumed that women weren't any good.
Believe, assume. Believe is the synonym of assume, and assume is the synonym of the word believe.
At physics. Was that it? And they thought that the men expected them to get poor results in their tests.
That's
See, directly she is saying, after telling the question, that the female students assumed that the men expected them to do badly or get the poor results. So immediately we are getting our answer, but still we will hear about the rest, like what she is saying about the rest of the two options.
what the women thought, and that made them nervous, so they did get poor results. But actually, they were wrong. No one was
He was telling her that actually they were wrong. So what the female students were assuming, they were wrong.
making any assumptions about the female students at all.
Anyway,
The male were not making any assumptions about the female at all.
what Miyake's team did was quite simple.
So she didn't say anything about this. And she didn't say anything about this as well. So what was the option? Because now she's talking about Miyake's team next. So before that we have to guess our answer. Sometimes we need to guess our answer also according to the concept. So for this concept, paraphrasing is very important, synonyms are very important, and your listening comprehension is very important. So now we will move towards our next option, I mean question number 24, and then we will underline the keywords as well. Miyake's team asked the students to write. What they asked the students? They asked the students to write about whether they enjoyed about studying physics. What they enjoyed about studying physics, the successful experiences of other people. They asked them to write down the successful experiences of other people, something that was important to them personally. So the team asked them might be to write something that is very important for them to write personally or enjoyed. What did they enjoyed about studying physics or write successful experiences of other people or something that was important to them personally. So now I will play the audio and then you will understand the answer. What is the exact answer for this question?
Students to do some writing before they went into the physics class. What did they call it?
Values affirmation. They had to write an essay focusing on things that were significant to them, not particularly to do with the subject they were studying.
To write about the things that's significant to them, significant, important to them personally. To write about the things that is significant to them, not about the physics. So this is not our answer. Something that was important to them, significantly important personally.
But more general things like music or people who mattered to them.
So our answer will be C.
Right. So the idea of doing the writing.
So let's move towards our next question. Our next question is about what was the aim of the writing exercise done by the subjects? What was the aim of the writing exercise? The writing exercise that they assigned to the students, what was the aim of that exercise done by the subjects? To reduce stress. They want to reduce stress of the students, to strengthen verbal ability, to encourage logical thinking. So what was the purpose of this writing? Let's start with me.
Is that this gets the students thinking in a positive way.
And putting these thoughts into words can relax them and help them overcome the psychological factors that lead to poor performance. Yeah.
Now they're saying this was to help them to perform well. Again, I will play it for you.
They had to write an essay focusing on things that were significant to them, not particularly to do with the subject they were studying, but more general things like music or people who mattered to them.
Right. So the idea of doing the writing is that this gets the students thinking in a positive way.
And putting these thoughts into words can relax them and help them overcome the psychological factors.
To help them overcome the psychological factor. So what was the psychological factor? To reduce stress. So now let's move towards our question number 26. What surprised the researchers about the study? How few students, all few, again few is here, so it is very important. How few students managed to get A grades? The positive impact it had on physics results for women. The difference between male and female performance. So we will now listen the audio and then we will see that here is the difference. We are supposed to, if they are talking about the difference, we are supposed to find out three things. How students manage to get, few students manage to get A grade, or either they are talking about the impact of this on physics result, or whether they are talking about the difference between male and female performance.
That lead to poor performance, yeah. But what the researchers in the study hadn't expected was that this one activity rate...
The study they haven't expected. So they didn't expect what was the results.
The women's physics grades from the C to the B range.
A huge change.
A
Pity it wasn't to
huge
an
change. The women's result from the C to B grade. They got B grade mostly, not A grade. Okay, this answer is wrong. And then they are saying it was a huge difference. The positive impact it had on physics result, it was a huge difference. So the difference between, so they're talking about the difference, but let's see, they're talking about the difference between male or female or just only female.
Hey, but still. No, but it does suggest that the women were seriously underperforming beforehand in comparison with the men.
Yes,
the difference between male and female performance. They're talking about their performance like women were underperformance before that. But now they were not underperforming. Now they were performing well and they get B grade from C. So what is the answer? B. Let's move towards our next question. Our next question is 27. Greg and Lisa. So we are supposed to find out the think Mike's result could have been affected. So now let's move it towards next question. Greg and Lisa think Miyake's result could have been affected by. So how the results are affected by? Could have been affected by the length of writing task, the number of students who took part, the information that students were given. So three things are we are supposed to look here: length, number of students, or might be the information who affected the Miyake's result according to Greg and Lisa. Let's move.
Mind you, Miyake's article left out a lot of details, like did the students do the writing just once or several times? And had they been told why they were doing the writing? That might have affected the results.
You mean if they know the researchers thought it might help them to improve, then they just try to fulfill that expectation?
Exactly.
So they are saying if they were no students are having the idea that this research is going to do something or affecting something, so might they will write something by themselves or might they will write something consciously. So the information the students were given might have affected the results of the research. So our answer will be C. In listening, sometimes they are telling all the options, but in this they are not telling all the options. Sometimes they are just talking about the main option, sometimes they are talking about the second option as well, but usually in listening they are talking about the all of three options, and then we are supposed to select the best or exact one. So let's start our next question, question number 28, and we are supposed to again underline the keywords. Greg and Lisa decided. The name is here already. So they decided in their own project they will compare the effects of, they will compare the effects, what they will compare. So they will compare in their own project the effects of two different writing tasks. They will compare the effects of two different writing tasks, a writing task with an oral task, or two different oral tasks. So they are going for the research as well, they are having the project as well, so they are deciding they will go for two different writing tasks, or a writing task with one oral task, or two different oral tasks. So two writing tasks, two oral tasks, one writing, one oral. That's we are supposed to find out in our answer.
Listen and answer questions 28 to 30.
So anyway, I thought for our project we could do a similar study, but investigate whether it really...
Similar study. Similar study mean what was the previous study? Writing task. So they will do the similar study.
was the writing activity that had that result.
Okay, so we could ask them to do a writing task about something completely different, something more factual, like a general knowledge topic.
Maybe.
So they are saying we will ask them to write something about the general topic. The same study was there. They were asking about the general topic, not general topic, they were asking personally, but here they are asking about the general topic.
Or we could have half the students doing a writing task and half...
First they said we will say them to do writing task. Second, he said maybe. Maybe mean yes, we can go for it. So it is an option as well. Let's move towards our now. We will talk about the three options here.
doing something else, like an oral task.
Or even half do the same writing task as in the original research and half do a factual writing task. Then we'd see if it really is the topic that made the difference or something else.
Okay. Now what is happening here? They are talking about the three options, two different writing tasks, a writing task with an oral task, two different oral tasks. But for these two options, he didn't say maybe. He said only at the start for the writing task maybe. So our option A will be the answer. So now we will go to underline the keywords in question number 29. The main findings. Main finding of Simolinski's research was that class teamwork activities Main finding was class teamwork activities were not effective, were most effective when done by all women. Were most effective when done by all women. Groups had no effect on the performance of men or women. Had no effect on the performance of men or women, or improved the results of men more than of women. Improved the results of men more than, comparison is here. So I will play the audio now. Please listen carefully.
Advisor on Monday, we can tell him we've decided on our project. We should have our aims ready by then. I suppose we need to read the original study. The article's just a summary.
And there was another article I read by Smolinski.
So she's talking about net. She read an article, Smolinski, and what was the article? Now she will talk about it.
It was about her research on how women and men perform in mixed teams in class.
That class teamwork activities, here it's mentioned, but she is talking about the mixed teams in a class.
Compared with single-sex teams and on their own.
Let me guess, the women were better at teamwork.
That's what I expected.
The man said, let me guess, the women were better at teamwork. But the girl is saying, that's what I expected. So next they will tell about the answer.
But actually, the men and the women got the same results, whether they were working in teams or on their own.
So she's saying the men and women were having the same results, whether they were working in team or on their own. So what is the answer? B. It's very clear.
But I guess it's not that relevant to us.
What worried?
So now we will move towards our question number 30. Let's underline the keywords first with me. What will Lisa and Greg do next? What they will do next? They will do talk to a professor. They will talk to a professor. Observe a science lab. Will they observe a science lab? Look at the science timetable. They will look at what they will talk to a professor. They will observe a science lab, or they will look at the science timetable. Let's move towards the audio and then we will see what will be the answer. So I will play the audio now. Listen carefully and try to guess the answer, because I think now you can guess the answer. It's very easy for you.
Actually make any progress or not?
No, we may need some advice on that. The main thing's to make sure we have the right size sample, not too big or too small.
That shouldn't be difficult. Right, what do we need to do next? We could have a look at the timetable for the science classes. Or perhaps we should just make an appointment to see one of the science professors.
So she said we have to look at the science timetable, or perhaps we have to see a professor. So listen carefully, now will be the answer.
That'd be better.
Great. And we could even get to observe one of the
classes. Or perhaps we should just make an appointment to see one of the science professors. That'd be better.
Great. And we...
Now you tell me how you will guess the answer. The answer she's saying about the science lab as well, but immediately she's saying or that we have to see a professor. And then she's saying with that would be better. So that would be better, and immediately his partner said, great. That's why our answer will be talk to a professor. So this is not the answer. This is not the answer. They're talking about these two options as well, but they are not the answer. So the person said great on this. So we are supposed to be very careful about these type of exclamatory words that they're showing, how they're showing, like great, maybe, perhaps, yes, sure. Like these type of things are very important to guess the listening MCQs. That's all for today. Thank you.